Hello, everybody. We are here. This is the second episode of NASPA Tonight. We are on site of the 2017 North American Scrabble Championship. My name is Josh Greenway. I am joined by the one and only Hannah Lieberman. Hannah, how are you?
Scrabble-wise, I'm perfectly mediocre, and life-wise, I'm great. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm excited that we're live tonight from just outside the playing room. Games have just concluded on the second day of this 5-day event.
Right. The tournament is young.
For sure. And one of the things that's interesting about these tournaments is what goes on outside of them.
Right.
So what's the plan for tonight? Usually every night there's some kind of plan. Hannah, what's the plan? What's going on tonight at the Nationals?
Right. So tonight is one of my favorite nights of the year. It is the Nationals Musicale. Because it's really fun because you get to see Scrabblers in a setting other than word games. There is often, the surprise performer. You didn't expect to have a beautiful voice or to be able to play the guitar. There's always, I think, some Billy Joel Scrabble parodies, which are sure to entertain. It's a good time. It's a good time.
Fantastic. Now, will you be performing at the Musicale?
I think time will tell, and people will have to attend and see. We'll leave them with something alluring.
Yeah, we call that a teaser, right? That's the idea.
Stay tuned.
Come on out to the Musicale. I don't know what time it starts. I don't know what room it's in, but it'll be easy to find. Just listen to the melodic tones. It's
in the Imperial 5AB, my sources tell me, 4th floor, and it's at 7:30. 7:30. Thank you, sources.
Fantastic. So let's talk about something else. We met at a recent tournament. You were playing in the tournament.
Correct.
You were playing in this tournament. You said things were going mediocre Scrabble-wise, but I just saw you playing at table 1. So what's going on?
I think what happens is it's very Scrabble can be a mind game, and when you start yawning and you tell yourself, "Nuh-uh, you're not going to get tired right now. You have to keep playing Scrabble." You can kind of psych yourself out. I think that might be what happened. Also, I find that it's very easy to play Scrabble when I have good letters. When I have bad letters, I find that Scrabble all of a sudden becomes a lot more difficult. So that definitely contributed too. But no, I'm 8-5. So, and as I said before, the tournament is young. There's plenty of time for anything to happen. So
that's fantastic. So listen, I'm going to wish you good letters the rest of the way.
Thank you.
We're going to look for you at the top of the leaderboard.
I hope so.
And I really appreciate you coming on the show and helping us open up the festivities here.
Well, great, and I hope that people stay tuned and see all of the great interviews and segments we've got lined up.
For sure. And speaking of standings and looking at the leaderboard, we've got a treat for you at home. We're going to bring on our special correspondent here, Mike Gincel, who's going to give you the top to bottom ratings for all the divisions. So thanks so much, Hannah. If you want to hand the mic off to Mike himself.
Have a great day.
Here we go. It's the one and only Mike Gincel.
Hey, Scrabble people.
Who's coming off a big win here at the end of the day.
Finally, a win. Goodness gracious. I thought I was about to be cast off in this, man.
That's just for you.
Security. Security. There's a random Jesse. Security.
So, here's what we're here to talk about. This is what everybody wants to see. Who is leading the divisions?
And we have quite a few changes here, Josh, for all 6 divisions. We have some upsets, some major upsets, and someone knocking off an Australian player in Collins 2 to second place.
Aha!
I mean, yours truly. I mean, I'm just a luck box, Okay.
So, what division are we going to start with tonight, Mike?
Do you want to start with the big dogs in Division 1?
You're the standings correspondent.
Okay.
You tell me.
Division 1 we'll start off with, the big dogs. We still have a good top 3. It has changed a little bit. We have Will Anderson, one of the favorites, the second seed in first position, 11-3 plus 267. Ben Schoenborn, a.k.a. Benji, our fearless bald friend from New York, is 10-3. As of this posting, I'm going to quickly just refresh. Actually, folks, breaking news, we have a new leader. Because apparently I can't refresh. I apologize. Rafi Stern is now in first place. Rafi Stern from Seattle, Washington.
Record?
11-3 plus 514.
And that pushes Will down to second.
And according to this right now, Ben Schoenborn is in 10-3 plus 923, so his last round is not in yet.
Okay, we had a great interview with Benji earlier today on the Facebook, on the NASPA Scrabble Facebook page.
Gotta love Benji. Such a sweetie.
Sure.
Love him. He's one of a kind. So if he does win, that'll put him in first. If not, he will... I don't know. His spread's really high. I think it might bump him to the first place regardless of outcome, actually.
All right, let's move on to
D2.
Division 2.
Now, we have our top 3. Robin Lewis is still in the lead, ahead by 1 game, 12-2 plus 531. But Wes Eddings, who was in third yesterday, huge spread, plus 1227, 1 game behind Robin. So very close. Robin, watch out, honey. Wes is coming for you. And Brian Rich Gruber from New York City, 10-4 plus 899, coming in very close. One of our newbies. So yeah, Division 2 looking good. Robin still holding strong.
There we go.
We're going to Division 3. Just doing a quick refresh. Oh, and we have a new third place person. Okay, so first place, we have Jack Peters, who was in first, I believe, yesterday. Still holding on strong, 12-2 plus 1634.
That is fantastic.
Big spread. Sander Post from Canada, 11-3.
Hey,
Canada. Do you know him?
Yeah, absolutely. I know everyone from Canada.
I'm about to say, do you know everybody from Canada?
Most of them, yeah.
Do you know Justin Bieber? Avril Lavigne?
Oh.
Celine Dion?
Oh, I would love to.
Do you drink maple syrup? And ketchup chips? I'm sorry.
I try to lay off the maple syrup.
I got you on that. And then Lindsay Dimmick, which is one of my close friends. Miss Dimmick is 11-3 plus 308. Lindsay was supposed to be in Collins too. She decided to go to TWL. And clearly it has paid off for her. Lindsay, a very dear friend, a New Orleans native. She's actually from Baton Rouge right now. Very happy for Lindsay.
Lindsay's been a frequent sparring partner of mine. We've played down to the wire at a few tournaments, so we'll look for her on the leaderboard.
Speaking of Lindsay's, we're going to Division 4. Look at that. That was a great cutaway, or tearaway, whatever way. It was. I'm
segue.
I'm really good at this. Lindsay Barra, Lila Crotty's daughter, is still in first place, a commanding 12-2 lead, plus 757, but we have someone coming on her with spread. Charlie Williamson from Washington, D.C., 11-3, plus 868. And then Rebecca Nance still in third place, 10-4, plus 882. So Lindsay is still holding on strong. And we are doing our thing. We got a telecaster there. All righty. Fans.
Keep going. Let's keep going with the standings.
I get distracted by shiny things. I'm sorry. Okay. Collins 1. We have a new leader. It's Joey the K.
Joey the K.
Joey Kravchuk is 11-3 plus 618, and he's carrying around a boombox for some reason. He's bringing music to Collins 1. I saw him earlier today with a Walmart boombox that he's very proud of.
Okay.
Austin Shin, the British are invading Collins. He's in second place, 10-4 plus 881, very close by. And, of course, our resident goofball Evans Clinchy is in third, 10-4 plus 564.
And we're still waiting to see what happens with Dave, right? How's Dave doing?
Dave is in fifth place. He actually has risen pretty well. I have no clue where Nigel is. I think Nigel is in the top 8 for Division 1, but Dave is not far behind, had a very good afternoon. Tim Weiss is not far behind either, and Sam Rosen's in the mix as well. So very close still for Collins 1. Collins 2. We have Lila Crotty in first place, Lindsay's mom, 11-3 plus 1093.
Keeping it in the family.
Keeping it in the family. Caroline Polak-Scowcroft, who I just played in round 14. Unfortunately for her, but really great for me. I won 436, 270, drew everything in the bag, and I live to fight another Scrabble day. She is 11-3 plus 63. And my arch nemesis, a.k.a. my roommate, Greg Feldkamp, who beat me by 404 today. That's right, 404. It was just a bleep smacking all around good time for Mr. Feldkamp. He is 10-3, so that is showing that he is not finished his game yet. If he wins, it will bump Lila out of first. He is 10-3 plus 1302, and a third of that spread's mine. So
I was going to say, his spread's probably pretty good.
Part of the check, Greg.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. That is the standings update. And what's really exciting is we have a feature interview that is coming up right now.
Shut the front door. Who is it?
I know.
Is it Beyonce?
I know
Oprah.
many of our
Ellen.
viewers. I know many of our viewers.
I hope it's Ellen.
Are like, "Where's Conrad? Where's Conrad?"
Who?
You don't have to wait any longer.
Oh my God.
Conrad will be taking care of the interview. Mike and I are going to take a little break here, and we have two
Hi, Mom.
very special guests. We've got Jesse and Jesse. So let's bring these guys in. Conrad, what do you say?
Get in here, you giant nerds.
Here we go.
And I'll see you guys later.
Let's go out that way.
That way.
And let these guys come in.
And like that, I'm going to dash out. Goodbye.
Go.
This is weird. I'm not doing the interviewing.
I'll steal this. I'm gonna let you guys. Yeah.
Yes, you guys. We fit in. Is this like one of those really awkward photo booth pictures?
It's basically a really awkward photo booth picture.
Sandwich, but we should be sandwiching Conrad, so it doesn't quite work. It's a Bay Area sandwich because I'm not in the Bay Area. Maybe
The New York sandwich.
I guess the New York sandwich.
Because we both currently live in New York.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Bye.
You're the Ken Rubin. That was a Scrabble joke. I apologize. All right, so Jesse's. We've got Jesse Day and Jesse. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
We have Jesse Matthews here. We have Jesse Day over there. He's going to lean in a tiny bit more into this photo here. Actually, I'll even scooch over a tiny bit more. All right, well, we're going to start with Jesse Yellow here. So where are you from?
That's a tough question to answer.
Okay.
But I live in New York City, and I was in the Bay Area for 7 years before that.
Okay. And where are you from?
I currently live in Vancouver, where I was born, but I've hopped around Western Canada in the meantime.
We're going to come back to your guys' travels over time here. Jesse Day, how did you first start playing the game of Scrabble?
I was bored as a senior in high school, and I'd applied to colleges and didn't have much else to do, so I started playing online, and I was terrible when I started, but got hooked.
Cool. And tell me about your first tournament.
My first tournament was the newcomers event at the 2005 Boston area tournament, the BAT. And I lost my first two games, and I was kind of cranky, and then I won my third game by 350 points. I was like, maybe I can do this.
And was there anyone else in your family playing in that tournament?
My mom has played tournaments in the past. She was not at my first event.
Your second tournament.
But at my first weekend tournament, my mom and I were in the same division for the only time. I went 12-2, and my mom went 2-12. But she's got some games. She improved after that.
Yeah. And moving on to the other Jesse, how did you first start playing the game?
I started playing online on Yahoo Literati, actually. It's a variation on Scrabble with a different tile distribution and different board setup. That was when I was 14, so 17 years ago I started playing online, and I met a player on there by the name of James Leong, who some of you may know. He's been the U.S. national champion before in 2007. We both grew up playing speed games together, so that's kind of how both of us improved our game, just playing basically thousands of games in the span of several years. And we just got hooked on it. It was just an attractive challenge that really we're still trying to master.
And tell me about your first tournament.
My first tournament was the annual Calgary tournament that happens in October. James had actually played in a tournament earlier in the year in the next province over, and he had highly recommended that I try playing a tournament in real life, as I call it. And I thought, okay, well, this is different. Sure, why not? And basically, James and the director of his Vancouver club at the time, Judy, they petitioned to the Calgary director on my behalf to move me up from the bottom division because they said it would be not really a challenge. They were hesitant because they'd had people online before that had come and not done very well, but they agreed to move me up a single division to Division 3, and I ended up winning that division in a nail-biter at the end, but still won, so they were happy with that and just kind of took off from there.
Sounds good. So moving back to other Jesse, so what do you do outside of Scrabble these days?
I currently work as a data scientist at a startup in New York City.
And before that, you were a student for a little bit, or?
Yeah, I did my PhD at the University of California, Berkeley. Go Bears.
Cool. And so this startup, you think this data science is a newer thing that you've been doing? You think it's something you're going to stick to, or enjoying it?
Oh, it's been good for the time being. I like it as a career because there's a lot of demand, and I can go do it basically anywhere in the world that I want. So I'm pretty excited about it as a future.
Cool. And other Jesse, how about you? What's your job outside of Scrabble?
My current job, I am a flight attendant for Air Canada, so I spend a lot of my days in the air going to different parts of North America and sometimes beyond.
And how did you end up there?
It's actually been a really strange path to get to my current career. I was a programmer once upon a time. I decided that wasn't for me, and then I went to school to study psychology and language because they were both things that were fascinating to me, and I liked the idea of research, but it just wasn't enough to do another decade basically of grad school. So I wanted to find something that would let me keep in touch with Scrabblers and other people I've met throughout my travels and life, and basically an airline job made sense. I get paid to fly around and to learn languages as part of my job, and that's really attractive for me.
Cool. So you think you're going to stick with that for a while?
That is the idea. I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to try to become a service director for Air Canada the next year. So that's basically the person who is in charge of all the flight attendants on board and gets to coordinate a small team pretty much every time that there is a pairing.
Cool. That sounds good. So we're going to switch to travel for now because I know you guys do a little bit outside of Scrabble. Pop quiz. Can you both give me a country count of how many countries you have been to?
Together?
Either both individually, how many countries has each Jesse been to?
In the 40s somewhere. I think 41.
Okay, I won't make you name all of those. How about you, Jesse?
I'm somewhere in the 30s myself.
Well, you guys, I pale in comparison at like 19, so. All right. How many places have you both lived? We'll just go with places, not countries. Well, let's just find out with places.
Okay, I have lived in Vancouver very briefly. I don't remember it, but I was told I did. Then in some suburbs named Surrey and Langley close by. In Calgary, Alberta. In New London, New Hampshire for a year. That's kind of a really random side story. Kelowna, British Columbia until basically earlier this year, and now Vancouver again.
And how about you, other Jesse?
Honestly, I don't think I can name everywhere I've lived.
You taught me a new place yesterday, so.
Yeah, I moved around a lot as a kid, but roughly speaking, born in California, lived in Europe for 8 years, in Italy and France. Went to high school in Boston, lived in China for a year, lived in the Bay Area for 7 years, and now I'm excited to be in New York City.
Yeah, cool. So I've had the honor of traveling abroad with both of you. Jesse Day, we've been to Asia. Jesse Matthews, we've been to Europe, and we've done some U.S. road tripping. I guess I've done some mini road trips with you as well. But right, I call it a Europe trip. But yeah, we did also go to Morocco, and that was pretty sweet. So I don't really know. Have you guys ever traveled together? Like, what's the story there?
We've indirectly traveled together. We both went to South Africa at the same time. Jesse was there to play in a challenge that was, this Jesse was there to play. It's like third person when I'm talking. Jesse Day was there to play in a tournament, and I knew there was a tournament going on, but I didn't really want to play in it. I just wanted to explore a new country, and other people that I knew happened to be there. So we got there at the same time, and a mutual friend of ours by the name of Gabriel Wong was actually there on business as well and managed to fit in a layover. So all three of us, for very different reasons, were in the same city just a year and some ago.
Cool. So if you two could travel somewhere together, A, could you agree on a place, and B, what would it be?
Oh, interesting question. I want to go to Brazil, and you speak some Portuguese. So.
I do speak some. I'm not fluent. This man speaks more languages than I do.
We're going to get to that.
I think definitely São Paulo would be nice to go there. I have not been there yet. But further in the north, like Fernando de Noronha is an island off the coast in the northeast that's beautiful, and I'd love to go there sometime. Basically inland from there in Recife and other spots like that.
I'm in.
All right, we're going to Brazil.
Cool. I'd want to go to Salvador myself, but
cool.
That'll be good stuff there. All right, so I'll give you each like 30 seconds to a minute to tell me what's your favorite travel experience, or just a favorite travel experience, because I understand it's hard to just have one.
It's really hard to pick all of them, but I'm going to have to go with the big one for me. It's when I managed to get my travel points to work together to fly first class on Emirates on my way to a world championship in Australia. That was amazing.
And you went the wrong way around the world, right?
Yeah, I went from San Francisco to Dubai in first class on Emirates, and then after 2-day layover, I went on to Singapore in first as well, and that was super, super awesome.
And Arch, you're leaving out one little bit about what you did in Dubai, right?
In Dubai, I went up to Burj Khalifa as well and managed to get some pictures there. I met up with a couch surfer there as well and explored the city together, but what have I missed?
Didn't you stay at the Burj Khalifa?
Oh, no, I was going to stay with a couch surfer in the Burj Khalifa, but he bailed, so I had to...
Oh, I did not know. All this time, I thought you actually stayed there. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry it didn't work out, but it was a fantastic trip, though. All right, Jesse Day, how about you?
I'd highlight Western China. It's not on everyone's radar, but it's a pretty remarkable place. I went to Kashgar with Gabriel Wong, already mentioned Scrabbler. And I would strongly recommend Xinjiang province to anyone looking for a bit of a unique, different kind of adventure. And I want to go back to Central Asia, but it's a bit hard to get there, so I'm not sure when I'll get the chance, but one of these days.
And how did you get back from Xinjiang? Tell me what that was like.
Are you talking about a certain 16-hour bus ride?
That is what I'm talking about, yeah.
That's one of the hardships of traveling in Central Asia. Things are kind of far apart from each other. So, yeah, Gabe and I spent about 16 hours on a bus. It was just inside of Xinjiang province, but it was shaking so hard it was actually impossible to do anything except for lie in place. Actually, my cell phone shook out of my pants. And we were traveling on a bus that was loaded with construction equipment. So it's a bit of a miracle I recovered my phone, but thankfully I did, in spite of being jolted into submission.
Yeah. So all this travel and all these places you guys have lived, I'm sure we've noticed you picked up some languages along the way. Would you both call yourselves polyglots? And if so, what languages do you speak?
I can't officially call myself a polyglot because I believe the official definition is 4 or more.
You're pretty close, right?
I speak English and Spanish pretty much fluently, and French I'm working on right now to become professionally proficient for working for a Canada on board. And then Portuguese I can function, but still need to improve. So maybe in a year or two I could call myself one, but right now I would say bilingual and close to trilingual.
How about you, Jesse?
Yeah, as Jesse mentioned, it depends what kind of standards you use. But
You're a polyglot for sure.
I don't know. I mean, I grew up going to French school until I was in 8th grade. I lived in France for a bit. Also lived in Italy, so I speak some Italian. I'm fluent in Mandarin Chinese because I lived in China for a year and I was studying there. I speak some Spanish, not as well as I would like, and I studied Thai for a few years at UC Berkeley. So, I mean, 6, but they're all works in progress, English included.
Scrabblers, we like to sell ourselves a little bit short every now and then. I'm guilty of it, too. Let's switch back to Scrabble for a sec before Josh jumps back in here. Tell me about your favorite moment in the Scrabble world, or again, one that's up there.
From having played, for me that one's easy. This was when I won the World Open Championship in Prague. So basically that was one division down from the invitational event where all the very best players in the world played, and I missed qualifying by 1 game there, and that was of course sad, but I managed to win the event that was held for everyone who didn't qualify for that main event. So that was probably my biggest moment in Scrabble.
Which, if I recall correctly, included at least one former world champion and one of the top players in Asia as well. So it's not a small achievement, lest you think that Division 2 at the Worlds might not be. It's definitely impressive. How about you, Jesse?
Unequivocally, my favorite moment in Scrabble to date was when our friend James Leong won the national championship.
Yeah.
Partially because I convinced him to go in the first place. He didn't want to go to Dayton, Ohio that much, but we turned it into a bit of a road trip, and I think it's the greatest underdog victory in Scrabble history, and nothing has made me happier than watching him come away with the win. And he did it in his own idiosyncratic style, where he was sort of fast playing all of his opponents into errors,
including the very final play.
Yes,
he would claim that it's just boredom that leads him to play quickly, but it was a brilliant strategy, and just that was still my happiest moment in Scrabble.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely up there for me as well. It's probably was one of my favorite until certain other nationals. But so before I jump out here, any other questions I should be asking? Anything else want to talk about, or?
Well, maybe this tournament. What's happening with us so far? Maybe in this tournament, how it's going so far.
Oh, how is it going for you so far, Jesse?
For me, better than I thought. I was a last-minute addition to the CWL division, and currently I'm at 9-5 in 9th place, so definitely better than I expected. I'm going to hope that some of the luck and skill combined will keep up.
Cool. And how about you, other Jesse?
I'm doing okay. I'm 8-6. Got a little bit of spread that last game. Still early going, but I would love it if we both cash. Dual Jesse
yeah,
top
double.
10 finish would be pretty sweet. So that's my new goal.
I suspect you'll probably go 7-0 tomorrow in classic Jesse fashion.
This is what you do, yes.
Yeah.
I would actually be happier if this Jesse won 7-0. That's just me.
He's so kind.
It doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. That's the great thing about playing with a bunch of your friends.
Played, so in fact, it's
Even
very
better.
correct.
Well, I'm going to jump out here. I just want to thank you guys so much for speaking. I know Josh wants to jump in here and ask you a couple more questions, but I wish you both a lot of luck the rest of the way, obviously. And let's let Josh jump in here. Thanks a lot, guys.
Pleasure.
Enjoy your dinner. Thank you. See you later. All right, this actually feels like it's time for me to be hosting or transitioning to another segment, but I am not running the show here on social media today. That goes over to Josh on my shoulder here, who's doing a fantastic job from what I've seen so far. All right, I'm going to drop my announcer voice and hand you the mic back.
Thanks very much, Jesse, and I'm really excited to join in here. I was excited for this feature interview tonight and was able to listen into the interview, and there was a lot of really interesting information. And I want to share an anecdote from my past, which is when I started playing Scrabble, I would see you guys at tournaments, and I would think, man, these guys are like, not only are they top of the standings, but look at these two physical specimens. They are both super tall dudes, and I don't mind saying so, super handsome dudes as well.
Look at you go.
So here's the question, because each of you are kind of handsome in your own way. Jesse Matthews, a little more polished. Jesse Day, a little more kind of California style.
I'm a diamond in the rough.
So here's the question, and I'll take any advice. How do I become a little more handsome?
I don't know. Ask your parents. I honestly, maybe perhaps Scrabble. What does Winter call that game where everyone runs around the room and they're playing Scrabble at the same time? Scrabble marathon or something? I would say that might be a way. You get to enjoy Scrabble and get to keep fit as well, which is something that we all like to do when possible. So.
There you go. So, and I'll ask Jesse Day, what are your handsome, like for yourself? What do you do to stay so handsome?
I have no fashion sense of my own, so I strongly recommend finding someone with fashion sense and make them your significant other. That's or close friend / chooser of wardrobe.
I see. Very good. So I've got another question. Now, you may have kind of covered this, but what I'm mostly interested in, because I am, when I do play, I'm nowhere near the top of the standings. And what I enjoy about Scrabble is the community. So what I want to know is, what is your journey been like? Obviously you guys are really accomplished players, but tell me about what you think about, the community, what kind of friends you've made, and what keeps you coming back for more.
It is absolutely the people, because the reality is we're all going to have mediocre tournaments and bad ones. We obviously try to play well all the time, but it's not possible or we get unlucky, whatever. And what keeps us coming back is always the people, the friendships that you make across the board and the time we get to spend outside of the tournament room in, say, after-hours activities, such as the ones here at Nationals. So there was the trivia contest yesterday. I believe the musicale is this evening.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the schedule is still in my head. I've memorized it. But there's some of those activities. We used to do Ultimate Frisbee on one evening of the Nationals every year, but then some of the locations weren't as conducive to playing Ultimate Frisbee, so that kind of dropped off. But maybe we'll get that revived again. You never know. But really, it's all about the time we spend together after hours, either at tournaments or, for me, because I work as a flight attendant, when I am in someone's city for a layover, I can usually contact them on Facebook or text message or something, and we can meet up to play a couple of games. So it's not just tournaments, it's also time that we spend between that really makes all the difference.
For sure, and I really want to hear from you, Jesse Day, as well, just because I love that your answer to the favorite Scrabble moment was someone else's success. So tell me what the community means to you and what the journey has been like for you.
Yeah, well, in reality, we all grew up together. I started playing when I was 17. I'm 29 now, and most of my close friends in the game I've known for over a decade. That doesn't mean that I'm not open to making new friends, but I mean, it's been more so than the results. It's more just that the game seems to draw these just great, fascinating people, and getting to spend time with just awesome, creative people is like a major source of the richness of my life. I mean, grad school was pretty tough for me, and I don't know if I would have made it without Scrabble. So I am deeply appreciative of the friends that I have in the game, and have to remember that when. Sorry?
I was going to cut in, actually. I got to watch him graduate and get his PhD.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I mean, you can't beat that. It's it is life. It's not just like Scrabble friends. Like, these are my friends for life. So.
Absolutely, and I think that's a wonderful tribute that you just gave, and it really is. The community is amazing. And I know that we've only spent a short time here. I appreciate you guys letting me jump in with some questions, but I'm hoping the three of us come away a little better friends after this interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, hello to Jillian, who is watching from home. I see some comments there. Whether I read them out loud or not, I'm not sure. Jesse and I got to have lunch together today as well. For anyone who is in New Orleans and watching, we went to Cochon to get lunch there. It was probably the best meal I've had here so far.
You should all go there.
And we met some really cool people who are from the Caribbean sitting at the table next to us.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Nice.
And I got to teach Jesse Day a new word from linguistics. It does not work in Scrabble, but I was talking about the Bayesian accent that I was looking for in one of the people, and he thought that I was doing a portmanteau of Asian and then another B in front of it. But Bayesian in reality it's a word to describe an accent that's from Barbados.
Yeah, that was awesome. That's not a part of the world that I knew anything about, and it's always amazing how much this guy knows about all different little linguistic corners of the world.
That is awesome. If you want another lunch tip, I am off tomorrow to Mina's Palace. I think they make the best jambalaya in the city, and I do not miss that place when I find myself in New Orleans. So, listen, I want to thank you guys for your time, and, this has been fantastic.
Yeah, keep up the good work.
It's been a pleasure. Well done. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far and enjoying not having to do it myself for a change.
Very good. So that is going to wrap up NASPA tonight on day 2. We're coming back with 2 more episodes. We start very soon after play around 7 p.m. Eastern at the end of every full day of play. So good luck to you guys the rest of the way. Good night, everybody. NASPA tonight, out.